Now, from choosing the right kind of Christmas lights to making sure that you have the right batteries for all the toys that Santa's going to bring, we have Alan Grant from Expert Hardware here. Alan, first of all, the tash is gone.
The tash is well and truly gone.
But were you happy? Are you happy that it's gone?
Yeah, I'm happy, and I'm more happy with the amount we raised.
Yes, how much did you raise?
5,000 so far, and it's going up. Hopefully we'll get closer to 6 or 7.
And that was all part of the November campaign?
November campaign in all the Expert Hardware stores. So well done.
No, these things, we're always looking for these coming up to Christmas.
Extension leads, because people are plugging in so many outdoor lights, indoor lights, then there's electronics that they've got for Christmas, so to make sure that you have the right length. So plan now and see how many things you're going to plug in and where you're going to plug them in to make sure if it's 10 metre, because the small one will be 10 metre, 25, 50.
Yeah, if you saw a part of my house at home now, Alan, you'd be laughing, right? Because there's one of these plugged into one of them, plugged into another one of these, and then into the wall.
Well, that's not the way to do it.
Yes.
No, so it's to get the right length first, so you don't have to do something like that and then compromise on safety. So you should never compromise on safety. Come into one of our Expert Hardware stores, explain what you're going to do, and we'll make sure you have the right product.
Because you can have different types of these as well, Alan. You can have one for 2 plugs.
You can have ones for 2. You can have a single trail. You have 4 gang that you see there. You can have a 10 gang tower. So because people behind TVs now, there's like 8, 10 things plugged in because there's so many different boxes: ServView, TV, DVD,
the whole thing,
whole
DVD
lot,
player, yeah. And these things are very common, of course.
Absolute lifesaver over Christmas.
But any movie you see around Christmas time, if there's any fire ever started, it's always from one of these, though, because there's too much. There's too much.
You shouldn't have you shouldn't have 2 high output heaters or something like that. So low draw stuff, no problem, like lights and as we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and we'll come to that small gadget in a small while as well. But again, Santa will be bringing loads of different presents, and there's nothing worse than Christmas morning, you have this fantastic new toy, and it doesn't work because you don't have any batteries.
Precisely, yeah. So make sure you have a full stock of all the different sizes, from D-cell, C-cell, AA, AAA. So read the back of all the products and the presents that are got now. So make sure you have all the different batteries that are needed, because a lot of stuff don't come with the batteries anymore. So just make sure you have a good stock of batteries, good quality ones, and just make sure.
What about rechargeable batteries?
Rechargeable batteries are great as well. They're about 3 or 4 times more expensive, but you can charge them up to 1,000 times.
Up to 1,000 times, so they save money in the long run.
Yeah.
No, we were threatened with ESP strikes and stuff like that during the week, but thankfully that won't happen now. But it's always very handy to have one of these in the house anyway, because of the weather and the time of year we have.
Exactly, and in your car as well. So make sure the battery that's in it, check it to make sure it's working, and always have a second one as well.
And that's the battery that goes into
there. That's the 6-volt that goes into that one there.
And there's an LED one here as well. No, I won't point it into the camera because
it's very bright.
Yeah.
Most of the LED torches are very bright, but all of our stores have many different torches. So I just brought two here today, but there's dozens on it.
And again, there's a magnet there, and you can hang it. You can hang it up like that as well. That's really good. Now we have different things about people who put Christmas lights outside.
Yeah, I think we're like the Americans now. We've lots of.
We've gone past Americans.
Exactly. So to make sure you have cable ties, which are great for putting lights on trees, because when the wind picks up, you may put it up with a sweeping brush and on a ladder.
I've seen people do that, and just actually throw them on top of the tree.
Yeah, just literally throw them on. And then when the wind comes along, they're half down, and you're kind of fixing them. So put them up correctly the first time, and then you won't have to revisit them.
You can nail them down to the tree as well with those things. But
and the important things with these little items, they're small, they're inexpensive, but the thing is, 2, 3, 4 or a week before Christmas, a lot of the shops are sold out of them. So find out what you need and get them today.
Now I'm going to come back to this in a second, but this is the gadget we were talking about. Just explain this one now.
I knew you'd love this one.
Yes, you might go home with this now, you know that.
So you have the tree plugged in, you have maybe 6 sets on, and every evening you have to crawl underneath and plug them in, and you're knocking.
I was doing this last night now, because our trees in the corner, where lots of trees are, because you need them close to the sockets. And the sockets are always in the corner and down low.
Down low, so you're in stuck. So all you have to do is arrive in and
hit that.
Isn't that great?
So just to show people at home, this is the clicker, right? So you have there's 3 different ones of these in different parts of the room.
Yeah.
There's an on and an off button for each one of them, and so even after Christmas, when you're finished with all the Christmas lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, so what you do after Christmas is great behind the TV. So you can plug this into the wall, and you can plug a 4-gang socket into it. So all your TV items that are plugged in, like your decoder and stuff, so before you go to bed, one button powers them all down. And all those items on standby cost about €28 just in standby for the 12 or 14 hours that they're not being used.
And these 3 plugs and the clicker is you can get
under
it for €30.
Under €30.
That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So there you have it again, you just knock them both off there. So when you're walking out of the sitting room, you hit the button, good luck, and that knocks off the red light in your TV and the lights as well, and no bending down.
Excellent. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Use all year round, and you'll be able to impress all your friends.
Put that in my pocket down now. Sure, while I'm at it. No, just tell me about this.
Now,
before, just tell us about the lights inside here.
Oh yeah,
the LED lights.
The LED lights. So there's a couple of different lights that you can use. These ones are, if you want to click them on there, you've got the remote there.
Hang on,
take that back.
I've inside my pocket.
So the LED ones, they don't produce any heat. Okay, so it's not going to dry out a real tree. Whereas the older ones, the orangey kind of light, they produce a bit of heat, so they're going to dry out the tree. Those ones, I'm sure we all remember years ago as kids, they'd be lined out on the carpet.
There was one loose one, and the whole thing wouldn't start unless they were all tightened.
Exactly. So the LED ones, they don't produce as much heat. Okay. They last much longer, and they save you on electricity, and they last years and years. And
can you have these outside?
Certain sets you can. You need to read the box to make sure if some are indoor, outdoor, or just indoor only.
Now, just explain what this is, Alan.
Now, this is for a real tree, okay, and very importantly, you can fill it up, the base up with water, okay, and it needs to be topped up every day. And the reason being that you have to do that is so the tree doesn't dry out. And a tree that's not properly watered, as we'll see, I think
we can see two trees here. This is actually happening in real time here now. So the one on the left-hand side there, there's no water and the tree has dried out. And the one on the right-hand side is actually inside one of these buckets, and it's actually keeping the tree very moist. So that's how fast the tree can actually catch fire.
And you can imagine being upstairs now and the smoke on its way up the stairs, and whereas the one on the left, even though it's only a couple of minutes behind, and actually you'll see the fire actually dissipates because there's no ignition.
Because it's all damp inside there as well, and that kills the fire. Where the other one is just dry timber.
And it's actually frightening. I'm looking at it again. And
that's how fast it goes up in real life. And say if you have the bucket with the water inside it, and hopefully you'll have a smoke alarm inside your house, it'll set the smoke alarm off, and you'll have time to get everybody out. But if it's this case on the left hand side there, it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also a good point as well. We mentioned with smoke alarms, if you haven't replaced your batteries. I know I always talk about
it's very, very
but
important.
it's very, very important.
There you have it. No, just before we go, just tell us about this. So I give it to you there.
Yeah, I'm the expert.
To get another week out of this jumper.
Yeah. So we've gold spray. We've all different kinds of spray paint in all the Expert Hardware stores. And just as I'm talking about the Expert Hardware stores, we're all owner-operated. They're all Irish businesses, from Thomas McClafferty all the way up there in Donegal to Michael Maguire and Rosslare. So we're all
Irish owned.
All Irish owned and owner-operated. So when you're going in, you're talking to the family business and the owner. So it's important to shop local.
Sure is, very, very important.
But it's also important to make sure things look right around the house. So we've gold spray here you can use on your holly on your front door and stuff like that. So I'm just going to give this a good shake. Yeah.
Very, very simple, of course.
And it's always important to work in a figure of 8 and don't keep going back over the same spot because you'll get like pools.
Yeah, and of course use some old newspaper there as well. So that's really, really nice and handy.
Yeah.
Give it a right Christmassy gold feel to that.
Yeah. So I don't have one that I made earlier.
No. And you're not Mary Fitzgerald that we used to see on the TV years ago. Anyway, Maura, what do you think of this? Do you see my clicker? Do you see my clicker?
I saw it in your pocket. I saw you twist that away pretty quick.
I put it out again.
Let's see
so
this.
There you have. We'll hang that in the door.
Nice.
Maura, happy Christmas.
Thank you so much. You're so creative. Beautiful.
Alan, thank you very much.
Great stuff there, Alan.
Happy Christmas to you.
Yeah, and we'll
absolutely.
See you in the
and thanks for bringing down some lovely buns earlier on. You brought down some lovely Christmas buns, so we appreciate it.
I have to put it in.
I hope you didn't put that spray paint on them. I saw it.
Yeah, the cupcake guy, I just have to thank for the cupcakes.
Oh, yes.
A cupcake bloke, sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
brilliant.